All right, today we're going to talk about order management. If you have any questions, just put your questions in the chat window in the Ring Central toolbar. When we're done, I'll have a Q&A at the end and you can ask me anything you like. My name is Gina Thomas. Good afternoon. I'm the training manager at C&K Systems and your hostess for Training Bytes, a digestible approach to counterpoint training. I know there's a lot of you out there that do a pretty brisk internet business. So orders that are placed on your website come down into Counterpoint as an order. And then there are some of you that actually build orders at point of sale for your walk-in customers. And there's some of you that do both. At the end of the day, somewhere along the line, we're going to have to pack that merchandise up, ship that merchandise, and release the orders. If you release the orders in point of sale, which is fine, it does tend to be a little time consuming and labor intensive because when you're in point of sale, you can't select multiple orders to release. You can only work on them one at a time, and that's why it's labor intensive and time consuming. Now, there is a little feature in Counterpoint that you may or may not know about called batch processing. This is good for small batches of orders, maybe 5 or 10 at a time, but it can be clunky and it doesn't allow processing orders in stages. It's not very visual. So that's why we're going to talk about order management. I am going to talk about batch processing as well because it might be a good solution for some of you. But then we'll talk about enabling order management. There's a couple of configuration settings and the order management process. One rule that batch processing and order management share is this same rule. So whether you choose to do batch processing or you choose to do order management, in order to release orders, you have to have final payment enabled on the payment screen. So in other words, you create the order, maybe you take a deposit, so you go to the tender screen. In this example, I took a deposit of $1 for AR. And then I came down here and I enabled final payment. And what that means is when the order is released, Counterpoint's automatically going to charge the balance of the order due to AR. This also works for credit cards. I wouldn't use it for cash or checks, not very practical. Okay. In batch processing versus order management, batch processing does allow you to release a lot of open orders with a few mouse clicks, but it's not very visual. When you're in batch processing, everything is very report driven. However, in order management, it is very visual, and you can process multiple orders simultaneously in stages. You have a pick stage, a pick verify, a pack, and a release. And a feature of order management is that you're able to fill partial orders. In other words, a customer ordered 3, but you're only shipping 1. Order management will allow you to do that. Now, when it does come into batch processing, that's under point of sale, batch processing, and you'll see these 4 reports. So there's a print order report that just prints all your order forms, whether it's special order, back order, or customer order. The fill order preview focuses on back orders and only shows back orders by default. Pick orders is to print your picking tickets for all orders. And then, of course, release is to release your orders and complete them. Now, when it comes to order management, I mentioned a couple of configuration settings, very minor settings. But you need to stop at Setup, Point of Sale, Order Management Control, and check this switch to allow partial orders if you think you're going to have that situation where somebody wants 3 but you're only shipping 1. And then, of course, assign your form groups. The form groups for order management all begin with OM. So for picking tickets, you want the OM pick. For pick verify, you want the OM pick. For packing slip, you want OM pack slip. And for release, you want OM invoice. And then you can select a print method, skip or prompt user to preview as I have, or just print directly to the printer. The other configuration is at the user level. So the associate in your organization or associates that are going to be managing orders through order management need to have order management user enabled on their user record under setup system users. This is what the order management screen looks like. So here are all the stages: the pick verify, the pack, the release, and then completed, and then all orders. And then notice there's a tab over here for fill back order. So anything that's a back order automatically lands on that tab. Anything that's a customer order or special order automatically populate the pick tab. There's also a toolbar in order management where you can filter for lines on an order, or you can actually filter for the orders themselves. You can look at customers and the customers that have orders outstanding. You can actually enter tracking numbers. You can look at ticket history. You can edit. You can take a deposit if something's not fully paid, all through order management. But something that you do need to know about editing. So if I have an order that's in the pack stage and I decide to edit that order, which you can, what will happen after I'm done editing is Counterpoint will take the order from the pack stage and move it all the way back to the pick stage. So you kind of have to start over with that. Okay, so let's go into the software and let's take a look. I open up Counterpoint. So I'm going to start with batch processing. And again, this is great for small groups of orders. So I'm going to go to point of sale and batch processing. If I want to print all my orders, I can just come here to print orders. And again, this is special orders, back orders, and customer orders. Now, by default, it's like a summary report. So when I preview, it just gives me a nice clean list of all my orders, the date, the customer, the name, and the status of the document and the amount due. What this report doesn't show you are orders where final payment is enabled. And let me just go ahead and close out of that. Okay, the next one. Oh, one more thing. If you do want to see some item detail on that report, all you have to do is enable this switch here. Click on preview, and then you'll see the items associated with each order. So that's pretty handy. The fill orders preview focuses on back orders and outstanding, where you need to fill quantity. So this is a really nice report to look at. I like this report. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. So you can see I have an order for myself for this product, this golf club, and one was sold to me, and one of the quantities was filled. So in other words, there's enough stock on hand in order to fulfill this back order. Now this one here for John, he ordered one, but nothing is filled because we don't have enough stock. Now if I were to go do a receiving right now of this particular product, then this report would update to quantity sold 1 and line quantity filled 1. Now I'm going to come to pick orders. And this is to print up your picking tickets so you can send somebody out to the warehouse or somebody out to the floor to go grab the merchandise. All right, and again, it'll default to a summary, but you can enable print line items, which would make sense since you're picking these items. So I'm just going to go ahead and preview. And here you go. Here is your picking ticket. Now, something that this report excludes because of the default filter, if I come here to the Order tab, it's excluding special orders and back order lines. This is where it's a little clunky. Even though that one order for Gina is able to be filled, because of this filter, that back order line is not showing up on my pick ticket report. So if you want, a back order line to show up on your picking tickets, you're going to have to backspace over this number of back order lines to make it blank, and the same with special orders. So now when I preview, I should see Gina Thomas in here, and there I am. Okay, but I wasn't there earlier. And you can see it even tells you the line type here is back order. When it comes to releasing orders, again, Counterpoint's going to follow some rules. The orders that are released have to be fully paid or have final payment enabled. And if it's a back order, you have to have sufficient quantity in stock in order to release the order. So I'm going to come in here into release orders, and you have to put a drawer and a station here. You might even have a dedicated drawer and station just for batch processing your orders. And I'm just going to go ahead and preview. And here are the orders that are going to be released. Now again, there's a default filter here that might be hiding things you need to see. So I'm going to close out of here. And exit. And I'm going to come here to my filter, and I'm going to change this flag to is picked. I'm just going to make it blank or no, either one. I'm going to click on preview. And so now there's a couple more orders in here. And you can see down at the bottom, it's showing you there are 10 orders in this report, 5 orders with a 0 amount due, and then 5 orders with the amount to authorize. That means those orders have final payment enabled. Even though there's an amount due, there's a final payment. Now, when it comes to your back orders and special orders, they're never going to show up on release orders unless you come to this filter and get rid of these zeros or make these spaces blank. Now, what it is going to show you are back orders where you may have insufficient quantity. They will show up on this release order report. However, a little guardrail that Counterpoint has is when you come down here to release orders, if there's a back order and there's not sufficient quantity, Counterpoint's not going to release it. It's going to look like it releases it because of the messages you get at the end of releasing, but it's not released. So you can see it's, you're not managing things in stages. You're basically managing via reports and checking your filters and clearing filters or populating filters. Now, order management, on the other hand, extremely visual. But before we go to order management, let me show you the configuration that was in the PowerPoint presentation. So first I'm going to go to Setup, Point of Sale, Order Management Control. And you can allow partial orders if you have that situation. Pick your form groups. That's as simple as just going into the lookup here and going into, picking the OMs, which stand for order management. You can actually attach the pick report and the release report as you're going through the stages. I don't think it's real practical because it's not a comprehensive report. It's only for, the orders that you've selected, but you certainly can. And then, of course, your print method, preview automatically, prompt user to print, print to default printer, or skip. I just have all mine set to preview. Okay, and then now we got to check our user record. So that's me here, MGR. So I got to make sure I'm an authorized to process orders. So I'm going to go to Setup, System, Users. I'm going to find MGR. And then here, Order Management User is just enabled. And so now I can get into order management. So I'm going to go to Point of Sale. Here's Order Management. And it wants you to log into a station and a drawer. So again, you might want to have a dedicated station and drawer just for your order management. So you're not taking up, a point of sale register or using a point of sale register. So I'm going to just click on OK. You can be in your back office. Okay, so here's the order management screen. Again, here are the stages: pick, verify, pack, release, all the completed orders, and then all orders and what state they're currently in. Now I'm going to start with the Fill Back Order tab, because remember, my back orders automatically come here. And what's nice about order management and back orders is Counterpoint will move a back order for you to the pick phase as long as you have enough in stock. So I'm just going to pick both of these, and I'm going to say, I'm going to check my stock and see if I have enough to fill these orders. So that suggests fill quantity. So it's showing me that this one product I do have enough stock on, and that's on this order 70071. So I'll just say, okay. Now what happens is order 70071 moves to the pick phase. There it is right here. But the other orders stayed here because there's just not enough on hand to fill in this quantity of one. So if I run suggest fill quantity again, I've got to select an order first. So now it's just telling me basically here, this order can't be filled. You don't have enough in stock. Okay, let's move on with our lives. So now when I come to pick, I can pick multiple orders, right? And these are the orders that I'm going to print picking slips for, picking documents for. I'm going to hand off the pick documents to my associates who are going to go to the warehouse or out to the floor to pick these items for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on pick. I got 4 orders here. Okay, so here's one order. And then it's going to ask me for the next order. This is kind of, I don't know why it does this way. 1 page per order and 1 prompt per order. Okay, but now those 4 orders are going to move to pick verify. So in real life, our associates go and they get the merchandise. They bring the merchandise to the shipping area. The person in the shipping area is going to verify what's physically there in the shipping area versus what's on these orders. So as you click through these orders, you can check the bottom screen that gives you the item detail. So you can see here, here's one. Here's one where I have 5. So this is going to speak to the partial order. Oh, you know what? They only brought me 4 of this one. And the customer really wants 5, but we don't have 5. But the customer wants what we have. So if I click on this line, I can change this quantity to pick verify to 4, and it'll still leave 1 open due to the customer on the order itself. Okay, and I'll pick a couple of other ones. I'll just say pick verify. I have verified. I physically have these, and I'm ready to put them in a box. So now they go to the pack stage. So here in the pack stage, this is where we're actually taking the items, we're putting them in the box, and then when we're done, we'll want a packing slip to stick inside the box as well. So I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to click on packing slip. Okay, and so here's one, and then I'm going to get prompted for each one. And now these orders have moved to the release phase. Now you'll notice that some of these have an amount due. Now I happen to know that final payment is enabled for all of these, but not by looking at this screen. And I checked in the column designer hoping that I could add a final payment column here so I would know whether this is really an amount that needed to be collected or if we have final payment enabled so I can just go ahead and release. There is a way, it's not the most elegant in the world, but if you highlight the order or click on the order, select it, and then just come up here to view order. And then you can go to the payment tab and you can add final payment as a column here to see if that's enabled on this order. Another way you can do that is just clicking directly on the link under the document column. So you don't have to go up to the toolbar, you just click right on this link. And again, you go to payments and you can see final payments enabled. When I'm ready to release, I'm going to select my orders that I want to release. Yeah, because UPS is on their way, or FedEx. So I'm going to release these orders. Now 4 orders have been released, and now they are in the completed stage. So I'm going to go back here to pick. All right, so if I want to use some of the tools on the toolbar, there is this first funnel here, which means filter for items. I'm only looking for certain items regardless of the order. So if I click on this and I choose an item, so here are the orders where that product appears. So it's on these two right here. You can see the item detail. I'm going to go ahead and clear that filter. Okay. This filter is to filter for actual orders, the documents themselves. And you can filter for a date, whether it was picked, yes or no, which, you know, in the pick stage, it's a no, so you can leave that blank. And then you can also look at by dates or by a range of document numbers or by customer number. I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. Oh, nothing created today. So everything was created in July. This is to see a list of customers that have open orders with you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this little customer icon, and here we go. We can see John has 2 orders with us. This refreshes the screen. This looks at history. Now, when things are in the pick stage, they have no history. But when they're in the pick verify, they do have history, or in pack or release. So if you just want to, it's just a view of the ticket. I mean, it's not giving you any audit trail or anything. It's just saying, oh, look, here's what the ticket looks like. So if I come up here to view history, oh, nothing for that. Oh, let's try in the pack stage. Now let's see if we have history. Nope. Again, it just shows you the ticket. I mean, it's no different than coming here and clicking on the link to see that. Except it gives you a split screen where you have a summary of the ticket and then the item detail below, kind of like this. It looks like this. This is exactly what it looks like. Okay, this little icon here is to view orders. So again, it's just, I could click on this link to view the order, or I could click on this icon to view the order, either one. This link here, I can actually enter tracking numbers. So I would select the order, come up here to tracking numbers, put in my tracking number, and then click OK. And even after you've assigned the tracking number, if you want to refer back to it, again, it would be nice if the column designer, we could, add it as a column to this screen, but it's going to be like viewing the final payment if that was enabled. So if you want to view your tracking numbers, select the document, come up here to tracking numbers, and here they are right there. Okay. This is to take a deposit on the order. Now, if I click on the dollar sign here and just select an order first, so I'm just going to come in here. So the amount due is $435, but maybe the customer sent me, $10 in the mail or something. So I'm going to apply $10 to the order so that when I release it, it's going to be a little bit less than the $400. And so I'm just going to say I took a check and I received $10. And then I'm just going to save my deposit. And because it's a check, I have to get some additional information. And done. And now that'll refresh. And you can see it updated the amount too. So when this order is released, it's $425 that's going to get charged to the final payment. Now, in the event you need to edit something, maybe the customer wants to add an additional item, because that happens. Oh, I placed an order with you 2 days ago and I want this as well. So now we're here in the pack stage, and the customer wants to add an item. So I'm going to select the order. I'm going to come up here to edit. And this is warning me, okay, this is all, you're going to have to start all over again because you're doing an edit. So everything in pick verified, packed, it's all going to be reset to 0. So I'm just going to click on OK. Now, if you're not used to ticket entry, this might look a little disconcerting. I know a lot of people that I work with use touchscreen ticket entry. Order management does not leverage touchscreen ticket entry. It only leverages ticket entry. So it's completely different looking. But the concept is still the same. I'm just going to add an item to this order. So I'll just go into my item lookup. Oh, we'll just add this one here. And we'll get one of those, dozen of those. But when I go to payment to take the extra money that's going to be owed, all my tenders are grayed out. So you're going to have a second step after you edit the order to go ahead and take payment for the additional item. So I'll just close out of here and we'll save. And once this is refreshed, it moved back to pick. And there it is right here. And you can see the amount has increased now because of the additional item that was added. So now I want to pay for the additional item. So I'll highlight the order, go to deposit, and it always takes a moment for the ticket entry to load. Okay, and so now I can just pick a tender type. Oh, we'll just pick, we will pick AR. I think this is an AR customer. And again, I can just put, the amount or the balance, the entire balance. Well, don't want to do that. I just want to pay for the additional item. So I'll just say it was $40. Okay, and then I will save the deposit. And close out of here. And my amount due is updated because of the additional money I took. So pretty straightforward, just a way to manage multiple orders simultaneously. The only is the fact that when you do pick multiple orders and you run your picking documents or your packing slip, it's a lot of clicking because it's stopping after each order to confirm that you really want to print that document. Might make a good argument for skipping all the printing until you get up to the release phase. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. And we'll start with the current slide. Okay, so your takeaways from this session. If batch processing is a good fit for you, you're just doing a handful of orders a day, you should know how to go ahead and run your reports and release your orders. If you get a lot of orders, batch processing probably isn't going to be practical. So you may want to leverage the order management. So now you know how to configure for the partial orders, and you know how to configure for the user, and then also the various stages involved with processing orders in order management. So I'm getting ready to set up topics for next year. So if you have any feedback, topic suggestions, I'd really appreciate it. You will get a survey with your video, your recording. You'll get a recording by Friday or Monday at the latest. And there's a little survey. It's just 2 or 3 questions. You can remain anonymous. But please do fill out the survey. Any suggestions, let me know. Or if you want to go to our website and just fill out the survey, www.cksystem.com/training bytes survey. Next month on September 1st, we're going to talk about price sheets. This is a way to do permanent markdowns or markups in bulk. So we already know, today out of the box Counterpoint, you can just go edit your price one field if you want to mark up or mark down a product. But if you've got a lot of that to do, all your seasonal goods are taking a markdown or some new goods are taking a markup, then leverage the price sheets because it's a lot faster than visiting each item separately. And of course, if you want personalized training tailored to your business, give me a call. I'm in the main number, 888-476-7911, extension 3, or you can email me at training@cksystem.com. Okay, any questions? Let me check the chat. Is there a way to export, import shipping information and email customers from Counterpoint? So when you say shipping information, do you mean, we usually ship UPS or we usually ship FedEx? Email, yeah, you can, UPS. So if you just have a designation on the customer record that says, we usually ship UPS, yeah, that can be exported. But if you're talking about the tracking information or linking the customer record to your UPS machine, not happening. So let's do this, because I think what you're talking about, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just going to go to customers and customers, and we'll just find a customer. And on the activity tab is a shipping zone. So this ship via code, this shipping's, I mean, anything you see on the customer record can be exported. It's pretty easy. It can also be imported. The export's a lot easier, I would say, than the import. And I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but you can export from a lookup. And the nice thing about exporting from a lookup is that you have control uh, over what's in that lookup. So, for example, in this example, I could come into my lookup here. I could go to my column designer right here, and maybe I just want to see the customer name, maybe their shipping method, and their email. So I will say ship. So here's shipping code, and then I want email. Okay, and I'm just going to widen up this column. Looks like I don't have too many emails in my database. But whatever I see here on this screen will ultimately be part of my export. So you can refine the lookup. You know, I only want to see in this lookup customers that actually have an email address and their shipping address. I'm just going to leave it as it is so you can see the preview. I'll click on the preview. And then once you get to a preview in Counterpoint, and that's any preview, a report preview, a lookup preview, any preview, you're going to have this envelope up here with an arrow. This is where you can export. So in this example, I might export to Excel. So I'm giving this to my mail clearinghouse. And you can select the destination disk file, which is just your local hard drive or your desktop, or you can export it right to the application itself as long as you have Excel installed. And there you go. Your export is now ready. So pretty easy to export. Good question. And let's see if we have any other questions.
Okay.
Well, I don't see any in the chat window. Well, everyone, thank you for your time today. As always, I really appreciate it. And hopefully, I'll see you on September 1st. Have a great day. Thanks.